So Dan, thank you so much for joining us on our Carpool Conversations. How are you doing?
Doing all right.
Yeah. And for our viewers who might not be aware, could you tell us your name, your job role, and your organization, please?
Yeah. Well, name is Dan Woods. I'm CEO founder of Socotra. And then Socotra, for anyone who's not aware, is, well, it's the first core system for insurance IT that's built on true modern principles. And by that, you're probably going to want me to break that down.
Please.
Yes. So, obviously cloud. Everyone talks about cloud.
Yeah.
And a lot of misnomers about cloud, or I should say misinformation about cloud,
All right.
as people tend to think cloud just means that I don't see a server when I walk into my basement.
Yeah.
But cloud is not just like a rent versus buy decision on your servers. As I like to say, cloud is when the vendor doesn't have to schedule the upgrades with you.
Yeah.
Like Gmail's never scheduled an upgrade with me.
I can't ever think of a time where I've had to do that.
Upgrading.
Yeah.
Come back later. Every now and then you have to refresh your browser. What was
Yeah.
that? That was an upgrade. But even that, for all the hype that cloud gets, and it's important, it's actually not even the most important thing that's been missing. The most important thing that's been missing with insurance IT, particularly in the core,
Yeah.
is what I call productization. Another great buzzword, right? Actually, it's an underused buzzword. I think it should be used more.
Right.
Productization means the thing you're selling is actually a product, which means I sell one to you, I sell one to him, I sell one to her,
Yeah.
and you all have the same thing. It means you can go to the website and read about how it actually works. So my definition of a product is something that I can sell to a competent stranger, and they can read the documentation and use it effectively.
Yeah.
Which sounds pretty simple.
I mean, that's typically how business would have
That's
been
what
done before
software
the
should be.
Right.
That's the whole reason why software is such an appealing business.
Yeah.
Write once, use many times.
Yeah.
But when I took my first look at the industry, what I saw was there wasn't, looking at policy administration, there wasn't a single product in the industry. I
Wow.
mean, there's vendors,
Yeah. And there's a lot of them.
but there's zero
Yeah.
that anyone has ever just bought a license to, gone online, found the documentation, and used it, just like you would with any other piece of modern software that you can imagine, from
Wow.
from Salesforce to Oracle,
Yeah.
Twilio.
Dan, I've heard that you used to be a musician.
No, not professionally.
Not
but
professionally. But how
yeah,
do you
yeah.
how do you combine that with being a co-founder? Obviously, it takes a huge amount of creativity to really kind of get to that point. But how do you become a co-founder where you work so hard on your organization and still balance that?
Yeah. I thought you were going to ask, how do you manage continuing to be passionate about music? And
Yeah.
the answer is I literally have a guitar in my hotel room.
No way.
Yeah. Today, the biggest creative aspect of my job is taking this thing that we've built, which is extremely valuable, and really figuring out how to explain it in terms that people understand from their everyday lives.
Yeah.
And to do this amidst a world where there's endless misinformation. So, as I alluded to with cloud, there are a lot of traditional vendors, legacy players, who have taken their on-prem software, they installed in AWS, Azure, or Google, and they say now it's cloud. It's like, no, that's not cloud. I mean, it's just hosted.
Right.
It's interesting because people are just used to hearing these buzzwords misused.
Yeah. And that's actually led me perfectly to the next question. And FF News, we always try to break down these buzzwords because we just get fed them so often. So
please
I think
teach others.
Ask
those questions.
It is our job to break them down. And so with that in mind, Socotra, I think, exemplifies an ecosystem. But so many people have different definitions. So many people, it's fugazi, fugazi. What does it actually mean? Break down it for us.
Okay. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, ecosystem just means you have a lot of friends.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how useful of a term it is, but people like it. It just means you have a lot of friends.
I mean, for a business, that's got to be pretty a good thing, right?
That's a good thing, yes. But how well do you actually integrate with those friends?
Yeah. Okay.
That's so. So like we released our app marketplace last year, and even that I'm very careful to call it app marketplace because I mean everyone has a marketplace. They call them marketplaces. search for a lot of people in the space, in the marketplace. And see marketplace. What are you going to see in the marketplace? You're going to see an ecosystem, which means you're going to see they have a lot of friends. You're going to see a lot of logos. You might see some case studies of how we integrated with them once for this one insured, over there this one time. But you and I and all these people we see walking on the street know that that's a far cry from an app marketplace like they use with their smartphones, or they use with their Roku, or where you can just browse at apps and say, I want that one.
The caliber of marketplaces are so different, isn't it? They really...
Well, what is a marketplace? It means you're selling something, I suppose. But it's another word that gets kind of misused, because I think people know from their everyday lives what cloud is if they use Gmail. They know what an app marketplace is if they have a smartphone. They know what off-the-shelf means if they buy anything at all that isn't built custom. They know what these things mean. And then when they come to insurance, they like to apply them to things that are not cloud, not off the shelf, and not marketplaces. And so much of what I'm passionate about is trying to reclaim those things for what people already know they mean. So if you go to marketplace.socotra.com, you're driving. So hold on a moment. I know you have to. I know the anticipation is like, but you'll see something that looks very much like a marketplace for a smartphone. You'll see apps, and you click on one. There's a button that says launch. Now you need an account to launch it. But anyone with even an eval license to Socotra can go ahead and launch these and connect us to. I don't know, to Verisk, or to Floatbot for a chatbot, or 5 Sigma Claims.
Wow, so they can literally just compose their own system by using yours.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, it's still, we have 15 apps today. And to actually create a full ecosystem where I don't care what you're selling, you've got the apps you need, you can assemble it. That's going to be a day with hundreds of apps. We're headed there. I'll remind people that the original iPhone shipped with 7 apps. We have 15. It shipped with 7, and they just put them right. You turn on the phone. Here's your 7. People don't remember that. Turn on your phone. 7 apps. Here you go. Choose one.
I've got my music, my video.
That's it. There's 7 apps. And now, I mean, how many? I wonder how many the average person has. Probably, certainly over 100. Anyway, so you looked at that and thought, okay, we've got the app marketplace. We have 30 partners developing apps, more now, but it was 30 at the original announcement. And 15 are released. But how can we build this into something that creates a coherent vision? And that led to what we literally announced earlier this week, which is Core Plus. And what Core Plus is we took the 2 most common insurance products that people use Socotra to power, which are, auto and homeowners. Here in the UK, you call it motor and household. So, want to be
thank you
being international. Yes.
Which we'll come on to in a bit.
Yes, indeed. Well, we're expanding quite a bit here. And what we've done is we've looked 360 at each of these. So if it's for motor insurance, what do you need? You need APIs for connecting your point of sale if you're going through an aggregator, or it might be a provider or direct app. We support those as well. So we need a portal for those. We need to have a place to look up a vehicle in a UK or US database, and we have both to get information about it. You need to connect to Rater. You need document generation. You need claims. You need payments. You need to set up automatic recurring payments. You need to have an underwriting workflow engine, which we built on top of Mendix. And you also need, if you have providers, agents, brokers, you need to have software for managing those. We built a provider management service portal, also on Mendix, a partner of ours, and into a separate service. So now you have a core, and you have all these things you can install through the app marketplace to create really a complete solution. So it's fully complete, fully modern, and thirdly, it's fully built. It's done. If someone wants to try it, we can set up a set up a POC and get them an eval license in literally a day, and then they've got it. Because
incredible.
it's really just off the shelf in assembly.
Yeah.
Because some of the other buzzwords that get misused are out of the box and off the shelf.
Yeah. You did happen to fall into that one but it does sound like you actually mean what you say in terms of they are literally, you can just buy them, put them in, and it works.
What I see a lot of in the industry around policy administration and the legacy technologies is they'll say it does A, B, and C out of the box. Oh, great! Can I, so we can install it tomorrow then? Oh well, it's going to take us 18 months to configure it. It's like, well, what does out of the box mean if I can't even see the box?
That's a big box.
18 months. It's going to be 18 months till I can open the box. To me, out of the box means off the shelf. Out of the box means I can give it to you today.
Yeah.
If you can't give it to me today,
it's
not off the shelf.
Yeah.
It's something else. So we're trying to reclaim these terms. So what's exciting is now it's like a solution that's complete. It's off-the-shelf components, and it's modern.
You've been established in Europe for a number of years,
Yes.
but really, you guys are really looking to kind of really make big moves in the market, right?
Yes. Well, we've expanded our presence significantly.
Right.
And we've got, some of the customers here I can talk about are Accent, MS Amlin, are ones we've been working with for a few years. And we've been in Europe since 2017, very small presence then.
Sure.
But now with the marketplace, the kind of scalability that we get, and several of the partners are in Europe. Mendex is a big one.
Yeah.
The scalability has greatly increased.
Yeah.
The ability for people to buy it, use it, and so forth. And with that kind of scalability, there's a lot more that we can get for increasing our presence here. We can reach a lot more people. With an additional person in Europe gets us a lot further when you have this kind of truly off-the-shelf components in their tool belt that they can use.
Yeah.
So it's also just such an important market.
So you're speaking as well at ITI, where we are actually just about to come to.
Mm-hmm.
What are you speaking on?
Yeah, so it's a fireside chat with us and AXA, who's been a longtime customer of ours. Yeah. And AXA, we've collaborated with them on a ride-sharing insurance product. So that's what we'll be talking about. It's talking about, a lot of it is about embedded insurance. Yeah. Because you're dealing with this ride-sharing partner, you're dealing with a very tech-forward company, and a company that expects to see APIs, crisp APIs.
Yeah, right there on the page.
And they expect to be performant. And the legacy was just not going to cut it. Yeah. They needed something that could keep up with that. They needed something with proper APIs. And that's what we're able to provide. So we're talking about that, and also the future of embedded. So I love embedded, because embedded is definitionally API driven. Yeah. So it sorts out much more quickly who has APIs and who doesn't.
It literally eliminates the wheat from the chaff in that regard then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, one thing that's really struck me about you, Dan, in this conversation is that you seem to have such a wealth of expertise from software engineering and how things are built and how they should be built. But I'm intrigued as to know how Socotra looks at combining that with insurance expertise.
Yeah.
It's an industry that's 300 years old.
Yeah. Well, the biggest innovation is when insiders meet outsiders.
Right. Nice.
You look at like Tesla or the iPhone.
Yeah.
The Tesla could not have been built by General Motors or Audi. Sorry, Audi, as much as I love Audi. And the iPhone could not have been built by Nokia.
Yeah.
On the other hand, they couldn't have been built if Tesla or Apple had said, forget all those telecom and auto people, we're starting from scratch.
Yeah.
So amazing things happen when you have people who have been in the industry, and you combine them with people who are coming from industries that are more advanced. So in the case of the iPhone, it's people who had done PCs and thought about apps for some time, and thought about the internet and those sorts of things, and had a much more advanced techniques and approaches to operating systems.
Yeah.
So when you bring those people and then you have insiders, you can build something that's truly new and remarkable. So early on, if you just look at our senior team and all the way down, you have a mix of people who have been in the industry for some time, including people from some of the legacy technologies, combined with people who we hire from Oracle, from Microsoft, from Palantir, from Google, VMware, all the big software companies.
Yeah.
And the problems, and when they come in, it's kind of funny because they look at the state of things in the insurance industry, and they're like, you've got to be kidding me. They feel like they're just time warped. And all I have to say is like, look, you just have to take the things you already know how to do. That's already established best practice from your previous job, and just do it again. The risk is off the table.
Dan, thank you so much for your time. It's been such a pleasure hearing your insights.